Well, as the nation celebrates Black History Month, we want to tell you about a special observance going on at Rice University. And that's where they're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Black undergraduates at the school with a year-long series of events. And those events begin this week. So joining us with details, Rice graduates Donald Bowers, he's the class of 1990, and Akilah Mance from the class of 2005. And we want to welcome both of you all to Crossroads.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And congratulations, by the way. Obviously, both of you weren't there when they got started 50 years ago, but it's great that you're here today.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you about what this means to you to be part of an institution that 50 years ago would not have allowed somebody in that looked like us.
It's really special and unique. Rice is a very small institution, and so the total number of Rice alums is a really small community, and so to be a part of that is really special.
Yeah. Now you're from one of the later classes. Do you have a real sense of appreciation of how things have changed since the first Black students were there?
I certainly do. Now Rice is one of the most diverse campuses across the nation, and our student population includes a lot of students of color, and so even from the time when I attended Rice, it's grown in tremendous ways, and so we're very excited about where Rice is going, and we're very appreciative of those who came before us and made Rice what it is today.
And Donald, I have to ask you, class of 1990, that means you would have been about halfway through the changes. What was it like for you?
Well, it was interesting. Houston, for me, had become a more diverse city, and so I had gone to integrated schools and had spent time in integrated environments, and so going to Rice was actually kind of natural for me. But I know for some of the earlier classes, it was the exact opposite experience. They had come from classes or times when their high schools were segregated, and then going to Rice was their first experience being in a desegregated environment.
And now, and I know that Rice, considered to be part of the Ivy League of the South, really,
Yes,
in a lot of ways was considered kind of a gentleman's club at one point. Fairly wealthy people were there. It was very different from going to one of the public universities. Did you ever have a sense that there were those who felt you didn't belong?
I think that happens in all places, in all environments, but there were also a critical mass of people who were very embracing and really wanted you to be there. I happen to be a student athlete, and so that created even another dynamic on competing with time. But what I found out over time is there have been more people who've been accepting, more people who've been welcoming, and fewer people who've been more on that other side of, maybe not wanting to see you there as much.
And Akilah, did you always feel as though you fit in, or did you have some momentary concerns?
Well, my time at Rice was actually a wonderful experience. When I went to Rice, the campus was very welcoming. I was fortunate enough to have my brother there as well, and so I instantly found a community that I loved, and I attended Rice because I thought it was a great place for an education, and they really allow their students to voice their concerns and really be empowered to do what they think is right.
Now tell me a little bit about the events that are coming up, because I know there are going to be a lot of celebrations, so give me some sense of what's happening.
So our first event is on February 18th, and it's where we're going to actually look back at the history of how integration started at Rice. We're going to have our historian actually speak to some of the issues that were there. It's unique in that Rice had a charter that said that it was for white students only.
Right.
And so there had to actually be a challenge to the trust to be able to make that transition so that Black students could attend Rice.
And I should mention, by the way, as we look up here, the panel discussion February 18th, as you mentioned, at 6:30 at Rice University's Jones School of Business. But
that's correct. That's correct. Yeah. And so there's going to be a healthy discussion about how that trust was broken, and then we'll have some students who are actually on campus during that time who will talk about the dynamics. So we'll have some Black alums and some non-Black alums who will talk about what life was like on campus during that time.
We'll get a real window into some of the changes there. I know there's even a movie that talks about the history of African Americans at Rice.
Right. We were here a few years ago when we started Young, Gifted, and Black was the video with some of the thoughts from the students who were, over the decades at Rice. So.
Yeah, well, I want to congratulate both of you. That is quite a milestone for both you and the university. And, of course, we'll have a lot more information coming up on our website. But as the events unfold, I hope you will keep us apprised of what's happening.
We'll certainly do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here, both of you.
Thank you.